A Chug's Tale. On the island of Chucklesworth, there was a vast and sure kingdom, a dynasty, if you will. Many Chugs reigned sure on the throne, and besides the natural resources gathered directly from the land, the rest were pillaged and raided at sea. There came a time when a set of twins were born into the kingdom, my brothers to be exact. They were the most beautiful of Chuglets. The boys lacked not one speck of gloriousness. My mother and father were so satisfied with the twins that they were determined to have another child, only to serve the two new heirs of the throne for the rest of his or her life. This is where the Chug's existence began. My mother was ready to deliver me, the servant child. The labor was very hard, and deformities weren't lacking. I was a wretched-looking little goblin with one large eye and the other small. My stink was one that was never smelled before, a scent so putrid I couldn't play hide-and-seek, that's for sure. By the time I was supposed to have teeth, I had nothing but rotten, grimy gums that were ridden with disease. And when I could finally speak, I had a weird accent that was never heard in the kingdom of Chug. All I can remember from my father is him shrieking, "No, no, no," when I would do anything. I savored my mother's milk more than anything because I could enjoy no solid food. My father was most displeased with this. I remember him saying to mother, "Get this filth out of my face," like I was an animal or something. In due time he decided it was time for my banishment. As I was sleeping one night, my cellar door creaked open, and I started to feel the full strength of the flogging rods. My frail body was beaten into a gelatin, and my cries for mercy were not answered. Off to the forsaken part of the island I went. I was delivered to the farthest part of the island, and then I was thrown into the sea, discarded with no hope of return. They knew I wouldn't survive, for I was frail, even before the striking. It seems the sea vomited me to shore, and my fate was sealed. The Chug would live. When I came to, my wretched corpse slithered around like jello in a bowl, but my anger preserved my survival. My gelatinous figure hardened over time, and I found myself encompassed by tortoises. Their turds surrounded this desolate expanse, and this would be my meal for years to come. The turtles died over time, and they were a delicacy indeed. I'd suck the eyes until the slimy balls would give, and then I'd gum them until the juices sprayed. These were the only solid morsels I'd ever get to enjoy. Over time, the turtle carcasses overpopulated my dwelling, but luckily I found an abandoned water tunnel to throw them into to spare me from their wretched scent. After the turtles all deceased, I found myself dying of starvation. I thought to myself, maybe if I return to the kingdom, I will be embraced again by my mother's arms. I was determined to go back, even though I knew I'd have to present myself to my father. Back in the kingdom of Chug there was great calamity. My brothers, Chug-a-Lug and Chug-so-Snug, drank from a tainted water supply and ceased from living. It seems turtles polluted the water and turned it into poison. When my father entered the young prince's chambers, he saw the lads were lifeless on the floor, and his heart stopped instantly and his body fell. Hug-a-Chug, my name by birth, would be next to reign if only I were present in the kingdom. It just so happened that my journey was not in vain. The excursion was long and treacherous, but I hobbled along the walking trails, finally gazing upon my homeland. Those that saw me entering the city marveled as I made my way to the king's quarters. To my surprise, my mother was the only one sitting near the throne. She peered at my grotesque figure that entered into her presence, and there I was, home at last. She embraced my filthy frame, and my mouth frothed something fierce as I cried, "Mother! Mother!" She told me what had happened to my father and brothers while I was gone, and there it was, barren but yet glorious, the throne. I slowly sat down, and fondled the cold cracked masonry with my brittle fingers, and only one thing could project from my filth-reddened mouth.